going on, Vikings fans? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Coming up on today's show, I thought it'd be fun to look at a perfect Vikings free agency plan following the NFL draft, with obviously the Vikings, fixing some positions of need during the draft. But I still think there are a couple moves that personally I would do to help improve this roster. We'll dive into that here in a second, but I want to look at some analytics here on the channel. And first off, thank you guys so much. We picked up over 745 subscribers in April. That is awesome. But hey, so far in the first week of May, we've only picked up 63. So if you guys could help us out, hit that sub button if you guys haven't already. Just help support what we do here at Chat Sports. But let's take a look at the Vikings cap space after the NFL draft. It does sit at $16.9 million, which is 20th in the National Football League. So they do have some, money to spend here, and I see no reason not to use it. Like with where the Vikings are at right now, yes, you still have some extensions that could be done this offseason, like obviously Justin Jefferson and Christian Darrisaw, but you could backload those contracts. And with the Vikings, where they stand as a roster right now, I want to see them help just build a more complete roster around whether it's Sam Darnold or the rookie quarterback. And I think the best way you do so is by giving him a defense. And that's why my first move during my perfect offseason plan here for the Vikes, signing cornerback Stephon Gilmore to a 1-year, $8 million deal. Now, there is no doubt Stephon Gilmore is not the same dude he used to be when he was with the Carolina Panthers, and even that 1 year he was with the Colts, he was fantastic. But this past season with the Cowboys, he wasn't bad at all. 68 tackles, 13 PBUs, still very, very productive. Is that veteran, corner that could, be a huge use to a young cornerback room in Minnesota. And looking at his PFF grades over the last 10 seasons, he's just been pretty damn consistent. Obviously, some of his best years coming with the New England Patriots. Shout out to Brian Flores. Maybe he'd want to reconnect with him. But even dating back to Buffalo, he was always just solid every single season. I think I only see we got 2 years below a 70 PFF grade. So, the consistency is there with Stephon Gilmore. He's not the same guy that he was in New England, but he can still be very productive. And this Vikings cornerback room needs it. I like guys like Byron Murphy. Is he a true CB1? No. Shaq Griffin, I thought that was a good pickup in the offseason, but I still think he's more of a rotational guy. And, we'll see what we have in a Caleb Evans, in Mekhi Blackman, even a guy like Kyhree Jackson, who they drafted. But I think adding in a veteran corner like Stephon Gilmore could help for mainly two reasons. One, I think he could immediately be the cornerback one for the Minnesota Vikings. Byron Murphy, I think we saw it last season going up against guys I think back to that Keenan Allen game versus the Chargers where he got killed for over 200 yards. I think Stephon Gilmore would be a more true CB1, allow Murphy to hop to that cornerback 2 spot. But then also my favorite reason here is he would be an elite mentor for the young guys. The Kyhree Jacksons, the Mekhi Blackmans, the Caleb Evans. I think he would be a great locker room presence, just show them, the day in, day out, of the NFL and really help them take their game to the next level. And just think about the minds you would have in that secondary with Harrison Smith and then obviously Brian Flores leading the group. I'd be all in on this signing, but you guys let me know. Would you sign Stephon Gilmore? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down in the comments section. I'm saying yes, no doubt. But hey, if you guys disagree with me, let me know your thoughts down below. Now, I do think the Vikings need to add some just overall strength and talent to the defensive line. And the best guy out there right now, even though he is old, but he is Calais Campbell. And I got the Vikings sign him on a 1-year, $3 million deal. And for the old fella down in Atlanta last year, still pretty damn productive. Was more of a rotational defensive lineman with the Falcons. Wasn't getting 3 down reps like he normally would in his NFL career. But hey, 6.5 sacks, 10 TFLs, and playing 17 games last season. Credit to him, man. And listen, he still has juice. There's no doubt about it. And if you look at the Vikings defense kind of more as a whole real quick, I love what they did at the edge rusher department, bringing in Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard, drafting Dallas Turner. But, the only defensive tackle I got faith in to produce is a guy like Harrison Phillips. Adding more talent, adding a leader like Calais Campbell, I really see no downside to it. And it's not like you would be asking him to be that 3-down defensive lineman. Maybe have him come in for big, important splash plays, and I guarantee you he would get it done. But both those signings of Gilmore and Calais Campbell, I'm more thinking locker room with those two guys because I think with this young defense having just more elite, football minds and, veterans in the league, I think it would just help this young group so much. But we do have a sweet deal going on right now. If you guys head to chatsports.com/Vikings jersey, you guys can get a J.J. McCarthy jersey today. The link for this will be in the comments and description of today's show. I promise you this will be the hottest maybe the second hottest. I will still go Justin Jefferson in terms of best jersey at US Bank Stadium. But hey, this will be number 2, no doubt. If you guys want to get potentially the franchise quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings jersey, click that link, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey, and get your JJ jersey today. But maybe the Vikings want to give J.J. McCarthy another weapon, and I think the best one out there right now is Michael Thomas. Tyler Boyd did go to the Tennessee Titans. I originally was leaning more towards Tyler Boyd, but I think MT would be a great choice as well. So we got him signed to a 1-year, $5 million deal. And, a lot of talk around the Vikings wide receiver 3 position. I don't think it's a dire of need as other media members and other fans of the Vikings on Twitter think it is, because I like guys like Jalen Naylor, I like Brandon Powell as well, but I mean there is a significant drop off from the top 2 to obviously the wide receiver 3 spot. And if you just want to give whoever it is, Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, more weapons, I mean Michael Thomas would do so. Not the same guy, no doubt about it. Injury concerns, obviously the number 1 red flag when it comes to his career, but he was still productive last year. 448 yards, 11.5 yards per catch, got in the end zone 1 time, and only 10 games played, speaking to the injury concern. But I would love Michael Thomas. And could you imagine, whether it's Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, and you got Aaron Jones to the right of you, and the 3 wide receivers are Jordan Addison, Jefferson, and Michael Thomas, and you got T.J. Hockenson at the tight end spot. I mean, it would just be separation galore for the Vikings wide receivers. So I would absolutely love Michael Thomas. Now, with the 3 Vikings moves I just made, that is, pushing them right up to the cap number, and they still got to pay this rookie class. Well, the Vikings can still create more cap space with extending Justin Jefferson. On his rookie contract, he is set to make $19.7 million. So maybe you get this extension done, you lower that cap hit to, $10 million, $8 million, just backload the deal, and then you could create more cap space this season. Will Kwesi lean that direction? I'm not sure, because I don't think the Vikings view this year as we're going all in, pushing all chips to the center of the table type of season. But, there's definitely an option for the Vikings to create more cap space out there. But you guys let me know, would you sign Michael Thomas to be wide receiver 3? If it's for $5 million, sign me up. I'd do that in a heartbeat. But give me an S for sign or a P for pass down below. Now, if the Vikings, let's just say we get these 3 moves, and we get those notifications on our phone that Vikings signed Stephon Gilmore, Vikings signed Calais Campbell, and Vikings signed Michael Thomas, I think this would just absolutely not complete the Vikings roster, but I think it would give them a chance for this upcoming season to compete in the NFC North. Because as it stands right now, the Lions are a loaded team. The Packers are a loaded team. They're just more, ahead of the timeline of competing for a Super Bowl than the Vikings are. But if you make those 3 moves, and those aren't needle-moving moves, but those are moves to help you get better on the margins, I think you could get the Vikings, I'm not saying they would win the NFC North if they signed those 3 guys, but they could compete with the likes of, Detroit or Green Bay. So I would want them to play those or make those moves, because if they would do that, the Vikings would be elite at multiple positions. Having one of the best wide receiver cores in the NFL, if you bring in Michael Thomas, no doubt about it. You got 2 elite offensive tackles. You got elite edge rushers already. You got an elite tight end in Hawk, and the safety room's absolutely stacked. And if I had to say the most important positions in the NFL besides quarterback, it's probably these 3 right here. And the Vikings are elite at all of them. Now, some good positions for the Vikings. You got Aaron Jones. I think that makes this running back room a whole lot better. You signed Blake Cashman to go along with Ivan Pace, the special teams, drafting Will Reichert out of Alabama. Thought that was a great call. And, Garrett Bradbury is just okay, just the definition of a mid-center we have in the NFL. But, if the Vikings do want to get better at some positions, I didn't have them signing an offensive guard. I don't think Dalton Risner is going to re-sign. Obviously, there was a lot of juice to that, before the NFL draft, but I just don't think it's too likely anymore. But, they could double down on corner, maybe go Stephon Gilmore and another guy. But I think overall this Vikings roster is pretty damn good. And that's why if they just make a couple more moves, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that this team is competing next season. But hey, you guys let me know. What do you think of the Vikes roster? Give me an A, B, C, D, or F down below in the comment section. Curious to see what you guys got to say. Now, if you guys want more Vikings content on your timeline on Twitter, hit me up at Pat Sieps is the Twitter handle. Tweeting about the Vikes all year long. So hit me up over there. I'll give you guys a follow back. And as always, Skol Vikes, baby.